Hey YouTube, John here, back with another review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the H20 Nano Hexacopter from JJR. Now, ever since the release of the MJX X900, the market's kind of been hammered with Nano Hexacopters, and this has kind of made it difficult for any one model to stand out from the crowd. And I'll say, in all honesty, the H20 definitely stands out. Now, the ready-to-fly package is going to come complete with the hexacopter, transmitter, USB charging cable, screwdriver, and a full set of 6 spare props. Really, the only thing you're going to need to supply is 2 AA batteries for the transmitter. So, moving to the transmitter, you can see that it's your fairly standard nano transmitter shape, but the size is actually quite a bit larger. It actually fits pretty well in the hand. You have 2 basic trim buttons here for right and left and forward and back trim. And then both sticks actually push in to perform different functions. So clicking the left stick will put the hexacopter into headless mode. And headless mode is pretty decent at first, but quickly loses its bearings. Now, clicking the right stick puts the hex into a return to home function. And like pretty much every other non-GPS multi-rotor, this is simply algorithm based and it's pretty inaccurate. So definitely don't count on this to save you if you lose your orientation. Now, moving to the top of the transmitter, you can see we have 2 shoulder buttons here. The left shoulder button changes your rates. There's a total of 3 rates that are accompanied by 3 yaw rates. So the first 2 yaw and pitch rates are fairly proportional. The yaw might be a little on the slow side, but not too bad. However, once you hit high rates, the yaw is insanely fast. It's one of those crazy stunt, super fast spinning yaw rates. It looks pretty cool, but it's pretty difficult to fly without spinning out. So kind of just more of a stunt thing. I wish they kind of slowed down the yaw in high rate because it'd make it a lot more fun to fly. The right shoulder button is your flip button. So what you do is simply push that once, it'll enter flip mode, input whichever direction you want to flip. The hexacopter will flip once and come out of flip mode. And the hexacopter flips and recovers really fast. So it's a great flipper. One thing you want to keep in mind though is it gives itself a ton of height before flipping. So you want to make sure you give yourself plenty of overhead clearance before performing a flip, otherwise you're going to fly up into the ceiling. Finally, to calibrate the accelerometers, you're going to go ahead and bind the quadcopter to the transmitter. Then you're going to take both sticks and move them down left. You'll hear that you get an audible beep and the hexacopter will flash to confirm that the calibration has been complete. So moving to the hexacopter itself, it's actually a really cool looking model. It comes in this gold color and it also comes in this kind of metallic looking dark red. So both colors are really cool looking. And to be honest with you, I'm really not a fan of nano hexacopters. Mainly because they feel kind of heavy in the air. But this little guy's a different story. Even with these built-in prop guards, it still weighs 2 grams less than the MJX X900. So it kind of feels a lot more agile and nimble and just a lot more fun to fly in general. Now the prop guards, if you look close, see if we get the zoom here, they appear to be removable. To be honest, they work great and the hex flies great with them on. So I haven't bothered trying to take them off. For lighting, the hexacopter uses, plug this in, 4 board mounted LEDs. It's got 2 blue ones in the front, 2 red ones in the back. They don't really shine through the body all that well, so I really wouldn't consider this to be much of a night flyer. Now, one great thing about this hexacopter is it has a removable battery, so you can get more than one battery and just extend your flying time. So the battery is a 150 milliamp hour, 3.7 volt battery. It takes about, give or take 30 minutes to charge, and I've been getting 6-minute flights out of it, which is awesome. Nice long flights. Really, the only gripe that I have about the battery is when you slide it in, I don't know if this is for every model or just mine, but you can see it partially covers the connector where you get to plug it in. So you kind of have to come in at an angle to get it plugged in. It's just a little fussy. Really not a huge deal, not a deal breaker, but I just kind of wanted to point it out. Now, before we get into the flight demonstration, I do want to mention one thing. I would not suggest flying this hexacopter outside. I found in testing that when it loses its signal from the transmitter, it'll continue to perform the last input for about 5 to 6 seconds and then slowly power down the motors and lose altitude. This could result in a flyaway. I mean, the first time I had this happen to me outside, Luckily, it didn't land any trees, but it was on its way out of the yard. So definitely keep that in mind if you're going to fly it outside. It has a short range, and it does have a tendency of wanting to fly away. Other than that, let's take this thing for a flight in the kitchen and see what it can do. All right, we'll do a quick indoor flight with the JJR H20. And we'll start it off in low rates. We'll just kind of run through the yaw rates quick to show you what they look like. So there's low rate yaw. Move it back into the center of the kitchen here. There's low rate yaw, mid rate, and then high rate. You can see high rate yaw is just crazy. And it's got a little bit of resolution to it. You can slow it down and speed it back up. But for the most part, it's just crazy fast. So it's hard to fly it without spinning out like that, you know? So it makes it difficult to fly it in high rates. So I typically just fly it like this in mid rates. You know, there's full pitch. It's got some pretty good pitch in mid rates. And you can't really get much of a funnel going in mid rates. You can get a decent funnel going. High rates, you can get a good funnel going. Let's see if we can get one going here. There we go. You can get it to kind of spin on one motor pod. So you can get some pretty cool high rates funnels out of it. Trying to crash it into the cabinets here, but there we go. I spun it out again. So let's go back into mid rates. We'll show you some flips. And you can see the altitude it gives itself when it flips. So you're definitely going to keep that in mind when you're flying indoors. Otherwise, you're going to wind up hitting the ceiling. We'll do a back flip. And yeah, it's just crazy. There, I tagged the ceiling that time. So yeah, if you catch it right and you cut the throttle at the right time, you can even do multi-flips. So let's do a side flip, cut the throttle. You see that? Multi-flip. So you can have some fun with this Hex. It's a blast to fly. It's got plenty of power, unlike the MJX X900, which is just an absolute turd in the sky. You know, this thing's pretty quick and nimble, and I would definitely recommend it. I really thoroughly enjoy flying this, and I don't enjoy flying Nano Hexes. So I hope this review was helpful to someone. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.